Do you think that this race, Jeff, was primarily a race of character and personality, or was it a race about issues?
Well, we tried to make it a race about issues, and I think it ended up not being a race about issues.
Why?
Well, I think this anti-Washington message really resonated with people. I think voters are frustrated with the gridlock in Washington.
Is that why you say that the Republican nomination was worth having?
Yes, absolutely. And Congressman Braley, you know, the only connection that he had to Washington was the fact that he had worked there for 8 years. For 24 years, he served in his community, was a volunteer, was a community activist, worked in a law firm, but it was his 8 years of service is what Dave and the Ernst campaign focused on more than anything else, and that was a hard, you know, that was a hard charge in this environment.
But in a race of personality, I mean, Bruce Braley had a good personal story to tell. He, you know, didn't grow up wealthy. He didn't have a lot of privilege. How come he wasn't able to make that personal story a bigger part of the narrative?
Well, I think, you know, the other thing I've thought about is the way the two campaigns sort of approached things. Because Senator Ernst was in this primary and was in really in pretty bad shape before March, they took a very high-risk strategy with the castration ad. And, you know, you make an ad like that, it could either take off like a rocket, which it ended up doing, or it could be a huge disaster. And what the Braley campaign chose a different path. We didn't have a primary, so we didn't have any high-risk moments in a primary. And then we had a very low-risk strategy in the general election. We didn't try and make any moment in his life similar to the ad that Senator Ernst did. Instead, we sort of went out methodically and talked about issues, and it turns out the high-risk strategy was necessary for Congressman Braley, given the big Republican surge that we were up against.
David, did you feel like that was a high-risk strategy at the time? Do you agree with that? And did you intend to make this about Joni Ernst's personality as opposed to issues?
I think it was about issues and personality. I don't know that we intended to make a high-risk decision with that. There certainly was risk involved in an ad like that, but it's an ad that was very much natural to who she is and something that Iowans can relate to. I don't think you can run that ad in any other state. You can run it here, though, because while not all of us are farmers, all of us know a farmer, and all of us are sort of connected to that culture, and it just it was very authentic to her. But the race was about issues. The race was about spending and debt. I think some of the issues that the Democrats use in these elections, that playbook was tired this year. You look in Colorado, and Udall made the race all about personhood and abortion. People don't walk around every day in their daily lives and just worry about that one issue. You know, Jeff and the Democrats wanted to make it about personhood and Social Security and Agenda 21 and nullification and all these things that people don't really feel are important in their everyday lives. And Joni was talking about the debt, and she was talking about the budget, and she was talking about regulations and job creation. And so it's not like she wasn't talking about issues. It's just that I think there turns out to be a bit of a contrast because her personality was so special in this race.
Is there still a risk with that personality, and especially the hog castration ad, that she's created an image that about herself that may actually not be what she wants in Washington? That she's going to have an image now that people have of her that may not be beneficial to her going down the road?
I think she'll always be Joni, and it's very authentic to who she is, and I think she'll never lose connection with those roots. She'll be doing the full Grassley starting next year as a new senator, and I don't think that that personality or those ads will define her in any way that's negative. In fact, I think is very much true to who she is.